Thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2. Let's jump right in. First, I just want to say that Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan already got an A+ from me in the draft because their first pick, picking Derek Harmon from Oregon. But this is how they can really steal the draft and have one of the greatest drafts in history, not only in Steelers history, but in the entire history of the NFL. Now, I know the Pittsburgh Steelers are missing a second-round pick. If they could somehow, I don't think that Will Johnson is going to be around in the third round when the Steelers pick again. I am all for getting rid of George Pickens. I'm sure behind the scenes, the Steelers have been fielding calls to get rid of him from who knows. We'll never know. I guess we will know if he gets traded. But George Pickens, the day of the draft, he decides to unfollow the Steelers on all social media. It's all about George. It's never going to change. And it's only going to get worse when he gets to the facility and he starts, it really sinks in. It really sinks in his brain, like all the money they were supposed to give me if I knew how to act, they gave to DK Metcalf. Well, he earned it. Got paid $140 million while George is going to be on a 1-year, 10 or 12 million deal, whatever he's getting, and he's going to start to get in his feelings. He's already there, but it just hasn't really sunk in yet because when DK Metcalf gets in the room and the fans love him and everybody's giving him attention, George is going to be the child, unprofessional narcissist that he truly is. We all know this already. I'm not telling you anything that you don't know. You've been seeing it for 2 or 3 years already. We've seen it all with George. It's not going to change. So it's time to say goodbye to George Pickens. Whatever you got to do to get back into the second round, the Steelers need to get back in the second round and get Will Johnson. Now, there's 2 other corners. I like Will Johnson. I know the Steelers have been paying attention to the South Carolina safety, Nick Amawori, but the problem is we already have 2 great safeties. We need corners. Let's take a page from the Philadelphia Eagles, what they did when they got a stud slot corner in Cooper DeJean, who sealed the Super Bowl victory with an interception for a touchdown. We need somebody. We need a player that can shut down the middle of the field. We need a stud. And that stud is Will Johnson. 6'2", 194. This guy was great at Michigan. It's unfortunate that he got hurt at the end of the year. Probably would have. Who knows if he would have been a first-round draft pick? Because a lot of teams draft on need. You never know why you don't go in the first round. There's only 32 slots. Different teams need different things. This is a first-round talent, first-round size, first-round speed, first-round instincts. This is a first-round guy. Pre-draft analysis, Johnson excels at reading the quarterback, then getting his eyes on the receiver and breaking on passes and off coverage. He splits high-low route combination and plays the ball, not the man in zone looks. It's all about playing the ball. Good. What do your eyes see? As a defensive back, what is the most important thing? Getting the ball back. The interception is the biggest play in all of football. It's not the sack. It's an interception. You need a lot of these NFL defensive backs are absolutely putrid at turning their head around and looking for the football when it's in the air. And I contribute that to a lot of things. You know, growing up as a kid, when you're outside, you're playing street football, you get used to running, turning, and looking. It's really, you're going to say, that's so ridiculous, that's stupid. No, it's not. Kids don't go outside anymore. They don't play sports. They don't do it all the time. You always turn and look for 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Now, when you get to 2 in your head, you know you need to start turning around as a defensive back, looking for that football in the air so you can play the ball. A lot of defensive backs, they have no clue where the receiver is, or no clue where the ball is, and they're just so obsessed with following the receiver, they never turn around or get their eyes on the ball, ever. You see it week after week after week. It's face guarding. It's like Pop Warner garbage. And that's from a lack of confidence. Because they think if they turn around and look for the ball, that the man is going to somehow get away from them. It's garbage. Will Johnson, when you hear that in the scouting report, turns around to get his eyes on the ball. He plays the ball. Super important. Like, you could be the fastest guy in the world. You could jump through the roof. You can have all these intangibles, but as a defensive back, if you don't know when the ball's in the air or know how to play the ball, you're worthless. Doesn't matter. You can run a 3.940. You could have Olympic speed. Doesn't matter. A lot of guys will wait till the last second. Receiver will put their hands up to catch the football, then they'll turn around and look. I don't like that. I think because a lot of these wide receivers, they're crafty. They'll wait to the last second to put their hands up to catch the ball, so you have no time to make a play on the ball. You got to have an internal clock in your head. You got to know at a certain point, I got to turn around and look for this ball. And you see it week in and week out in the NFL. These defensive backs are absolutely atrocious at it. And it's from a lot of things. You know, growing up, it's just, there's a lot of things that go into it that are so basic, I would sound like an idiot even talking about it. He's a playmaker who returned 3 of his 9 career interceptions for touchdowns. Johnson missed 7 games in 2024 with a turf toe injury and missed his pro day due to a hamstring injury. That's why he fell. I mean, this could be contributed. Whenever you see hamstring injuries, that's usually because the players are not training their hamstrings. You know, these guys, they'll tweak a hamstring and then they'll want to baby it and not train it hard. Get on the phone with Westside Barbell. Get one of these inverse curl machines. Get on the phone with them. You'll never have another hamstring injury again in your life, because this is what happens the majority of the time. Majority of the time, athletes, bodybuilders, whoever, they focus too much on their quad. They become quad dominant and they get really strong in their quad. And then when they go to press into the ground, they blow out their hamstring because you're only as strong as your weakest link. It can be fixed, but you need to train that area. You can't baby the area. You got to hammer that area. There's a reason why these sprinters, their hamstrings like literally start when their butt starts. They know the importance of strong hamstrings. So when I see this injury report, it's not too concerning. It can be fixed. So let's just say the Steelers, they can't get their hands on Will Johnson. They need to stick to the cornerback position. Stick to the cornerback position. This Siobhan Revell from East Carolina, I'm not as crazy about him as I am about Will Johnson. Then you got Trey Amos from Ole Miss, who I really like. I don't know if these players are going to be around. I mean, you're going to have to feel it out. Will Johnson is definitely not going to be there. And I feel that Will Johnson, out of the other 2 names, is the definite lock, is the definite guy, is the Joey Porter Jr. of the cornerbacks in this draft. I don't know what the Steelers got to do to get back into the second round, but they need to do it. You know, the Steelers have it's a good reputation, but it's a bad reputation at the same time. Every time they send one of our receivers, our diva receivers, narcissist receivers to another team, the guy crashes out. You never hear from him again. If I'm another team and they want to send me George Pickens, I'd be like, no, I'm good, thanks. No, thank you. Because we all see George Pickens couldn't even behave himself for 16 weeks to get a $120 million contract hanging over his head. He would have got the money that DK got. So if I don't, it's going to be difficult to shop him. Will there be a team that'll take a risk? Sure. But I don't know if it'll be a set for a second round pick. Might be for a 4th round pick, 3rd round pick. Now, if the Steelers can't get into this round, I really do feel they need to stick to the corner. If one of these corners is still left, you go Derek Harmon, a corner, 3rd round. Get the Florida defensive lineman. He's 360 pounds. Get Desmond Watson. Go nose tackle again. So nose tackle, zero technique, whatever you want to call it, defensive tackle, corner, defensive tackle in the 3rd round. You could even go defensive tackle again in the 4th round. And in the 5th round or 4th round, get a quarterback. But the Steelers really have a chance here to steal the draft if they play their cards the right way. I would do everything in my power if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers to get Will Johnson. Great value. Great player. It's there. The talent is there. The attitude is there. Little bit of an injury history can be fixed. Now, if the Steelers can't get in the 2nd round, they take a corner in the 3rd, they take a defensive tackle in the 4th, you get a quarterback in the 5th. If you can get back into the 2nd round, you go defensive tackle, cornerback, defensive tackle again. Now you get to take your quarterback shot a little sooner. A Jalen Milroe, a project, the kid from Syracuse. But I really love Will Johnson. And the Steelers need that stud corner on the inside of the field, like the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to keep mentioning them. They're the Super Bowl champions. Let's take the blueprint from the Eagles. You saw when Cooper DeJean got inserted into the lineup for the Philadelphia Eagles, they went from a team that was barely going to make the playoffs to winning the Super Bowl. You need that position. You need that part of the field locked down. Mike Tomlin, Coach Tomlin, Omar Khan, let's do what we got to do to get Will Johnson.